I can't really get away with planted in actual substrateness. It's not a word here. This isn't very healthy. It seems to be called cautious, is it? Really like it's kind of underwater. Okay. Don't try this at home, folks. I am a professional. Another video. So this week we are in the fish room. What I thought I would do was just show you the different types of filtration that you can actually get for tanks, especially when you're dealing with large tanks. I do have lots of different varieties of tanks. They're all different sizes, different shapes, different volumes of water. Don't just stick to one. I like to switch it up a little bit sometimes. So some of them will be the same and some of them will be slightly different. Bear in mind that we are dealing with African cichlids in the fish room. We're not dealing with plants that are good with fish that are good with plants. It is very difficult to get African cichlids to leave the plants alone. They like to play with them, eat them, rip them up, everything like that. So having a planted aquarium with cichlids, especially haps, peacocks and boona, all those types of fish. I would mainly say open water swimmers because you wouldn't really have plants in with boona because they are rock dwelling fish. They're just going to appreciate rocks more because that's the type of fish they are. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or if you have plants in with your boona, how do you do it? How do you get them to leave them alone? Are they well trained? What's the secret? Because mine are just, they're naughty. My fish are naughty. They even rip up artificial plants, so God only knows what they would do with real life plants who have feelings. Yes, I mean, I do have shell dwelling fish and I do get away with putting plants in with those sometimes. It's more like, it's not so much planted in substrate. I don't tend to do that with the shell dwellers. I tend to attach them to some sort of rock or decoration. And I can't get away with plants in substrate. It doesn't really work for me. So if it works for you, then tell me how you manage to do that. Trophies are good with artificial plants. They tend to leave those alone, but I haven't actually tested. No, I have. I tell a lie. I have tested. I tested them in the rainbow tank, and that didn't go so well. Those plants. Yeah, they like those plants a lot and did dirty with those plants. Yeah. Me and plants is not really my strong point. I have just getting some apple snails. I was inspired and I thought, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and I am going to get some snails. And I thought, I need some badass snails, don't I? I can't just have near-eyed snails. No offense to anybody who keeps near-eyed snails. So obviously they're not in with the cichlids. I haven't put them in with the cichlids. They're in a separate tank. But I did have a lovely tank set up. I had a little waterfall feature all set up lovely with the rocks and some plants in there, and I had some floating plants and it looked so lovely. And then I put the apple snails in and they destroyed it completely. So that was a big fat fail. So my planted tank still didn't work. So one day I will do it. One day I will be like, this is my amazing ecosystem that I grew myself and made absolutely wonderful. None of my fish ate it because I didn't put any fish in it. No, but seriously, props to you if you can get planted aquariums to look good. Oh well. Right, so let's get started. But we'll do a quick lap around and show you the different types of filtration systems are connected to each tank. I'll probably not start with that one because I did just show you that in the last video. Shall we start with, this is the 200-gallon tank, and this is got the mixed species. It's what I call a display tank. It's raining at the moment, but I am having issues with this one. But I am going to do a separate video on that as to why I think that's happened. But it is filter connected, so it is relevant why I'm telling you this. So yeah, I have had some issues with this one. It is draining at the moment, but clarity of the water, like I say, I'm not really too fussed on the crystal clear water. I would rather have good healthy sources of water rather than crystal clear water, no chemicals, nothing like that. I try to avoid using as many chemicals as possible when it comes to fish, unless of course we're talking parasites. When we're talking parasites, then I will of course use licensed medication to get rid of those parasites, because that is the only way that you're going to get rid of certain types of parasites. General cures and salt and all of that light stuff is not going to work if you have a parasite. I just wanted to make that clear. So when it comes to dosing your tank with licensed medications, you need to be very careful with things like that. Always consult a professional. That's what I would suggest. Or somebody who knows a lot about the licensed medications that you are actually putting in your fish tank. So this is a canister filter. Like I say, it's not as clear as what I would like it, but I have identified an issue what I think is going wrong with that one, so I'll keep you posted on that. Moving round is general mixed haps in here. They are on the smaller side. They are, well, they're not juveniles now. I think I'm faking them. There they go. No, I'm not faking it. So there is quite a lot of fish in here, but I am getting ready to move them into the big tank when I get that sorted. That's why they're still in this one, because I haven't had a chance to fix this one first, which I will fix, honestly. Just have faith, I will fix it. Once that's fixed and sorted out, they will be moving into that one. But for now, they are in this tank. And with this being quite a heavily stocked tank, which you need to anyway with cichlids, especially haps. So in this tank, I do have 1, 2, 3 sponge filters in this tank. And then there is an overhead mini sump attached to it. I suppose I could do a separate video if you guys want on how I actually set that up, in case you want to replicate that for your tank. It's so easy to make. It is something that is DIY friendly, because I'm not a major DIY person. I can do the basics, that's it. So that is quite simple to make, so I can do a separate video on how to do that if that's what you want to see, if you like that. So yeah, that's got the overhead mini sump attached to it, and that is the filtration that's in there. So you can see already there's 2 different tanks and completely separate filtration systems. And yet you can see that one, I know it's draining, so it is, I'm multitasking, doing a water change and I'm doing a video at the same time, so you can see that it's not clear. But the difference between that tank, which has a canister filter attached to it, and this tank, which has a mini sump and 3 sponge filters, that is the difference in the water cleanness. Now, different circumstances, different situation when it comes to what type of bacteria is in those. Canister filter is going to hold a lot more bacteria, definitely more than what sponge filters would be, and probably more than what the mini sump is. If it was a larger sump, then I would say differently, but because it's just a smaller sump, then no. But this is, well, it's not a small tank by any means, but it's obviously not as big as that one. So that is that. So already 2 tanks and 3 totally different ways of filtrating your tank. So next one, these are the eye biters. So these are mine, these are what I've bred myself. These are what I've bred of the big guy, feisty guy, and one of his females. This is of different females, this wasn't all of the same females. Some of them have moved on to their forever homes now, and these are the ones that I have left. Some of them are to breed and some of them are to go in the display tank. So yeah, in this one there is a sponge filter. There is two quite thick sponge filters attached to that. So that is what is filtrating that one. So moving on to the next one. This is the shell dwellers, this is the brevis. Again, this one has sponge filters in it. So then we're moving down to the bottom. I just realised I haven't showed you these ones. No, I definitely haven't. I haven't showed you the chrysler. Yeah, a couple of videos back. I'm not keeping you guys informed on the fish I'm getting, am I? I think it was Instagram I posted. Yeah, it was Instagram I posted about the chrysler, and then the first time that I showed them was a couple of videos ago when I did all of my trophy species. But I hadn't actually gotten these yet. they actually arrived the next day after I filmed that video, so never mind. Yeah, I'll not show you these actually. I won't show you these fish, I'll just show you the filtration system that's in here. So it does have one sponge filter in here, and then it has a canister filter attached to it as well, because this is again a very large tank. So they're all the same, it's exactly the same as the top one. What am I talking about? So yeah, the top one and the bottom one are exactly the same. Now the middle one, it is the same type of tank, only it's split down the middle, so I have two separate tanks in there. Then we're moving around, we're just going to scoot along on the floor here. Yeah, so Massimo trophies, we have a sponge filter in there, and we also have another mini sump of this one. This is another, was it a man-made one? This is another DIY made one. It doesn't look as good, that's why it's hidden. Well, the other one doesn't exactly look good, but you know, it's a fish room, what do you want? What do you want? Look, that one, it is pretty ugly, that one, that's why I keep it behind the screen. But it does the job. I mean, that tank, never complain about that tank, it's always absolutely, water is perfect on that one. Never have any complaints with that one. Let me just check on my tank. Okay, we're okay. Oh, I just checked on it, yeah. Wait a minute. Complain about that one, it is absolutely glorious water in that one. So we will move up here. This one, yeah, this just has the daffodils in. This is the culture daffodils. I'll put the name on underneath of everything, so if I'm not saying what species they are, I'll write it down so you know. But just in case I'm butchering the way that it's said. I sort of have like little nicknames for each of them, so it is hard to not say the nicknames that I always say for them rather than the actual names, and then the scientific names on top of that, which just gets really complicated and really confusing. But yeah, I'll write it down if you're not sure. So that's on that one, and then on this one, Coriza tank, this has got a matten filter. So if you weren't too sure what a matten filter was, basically it is a little bit like a sponge filter. It works in the same principle, it works in the same way, same sort of mechanics behind it, only it has more surface area, so it is sort of like attached to the side. More surface area for sponges, therefore more bacteria will grow. So it's kind of like one step up from a sponge filter if you want that next level on filtration without doing a full out filter, basic filter, which does cost a lot of money. If I was to run every single one of these off just filters alone, it would be through the roof. So the ones that need it is the ones that I will, but the ones that I can get away with it and the water is absolutely fine for them, I will just run them off sponge filters, matten filters, or DIY sumps. And then this one, this was on last week's video, so if you haven't seen this week's video, go check that out and leave it in the little iCard up here. That was the aquarium maintenance video. Top one is the Madoka whitelets, though that one is just off a sponge filter. The next one, those are the similars, and that is off the matten filter. Moving further down, this one, it has the baby frontosas and it has the Electra deep water haps in here. That is off a matten filter again. And the bottom one, oh, he's come out now. You know, he never comes out. Every time I get the camera out or come in here, he always hides. One of them is always in the same spot, and then always in that big shell as well. But it's hiding behind the plants. Yes, yeah, so they are the Momo calvas, and that again is just run off under the sponge filter. So moving around now, start with, we'll turn the light on so you can see these guys, because I did turn the light off. Why is my light not working? What is going on with my lights? Production issues. I'm gonna have to put you down for a minute. Okay. Look at the bonsai tree. I'll show you this. That's why it's not working, it's not plugged in. Okay, and we have light again. This is the blue rainbows, the trophy. That is off a sponge filter and off a mini sump as well at the top. So the bristle nose tank, that is run off a sponge filter.
And then we have the really small Dwinty fry, that's off sponge filter, and so is the dolphin fry, that is off a sponge filter as well.
So this system, this one is a bit, I suppose you could say this is a bit controversial, but it is attached to a sump and they are connected. So the top one, the middle three, that one and the two, those are all connected to the sump. I know this is a bit controversial because some people say, well, water siphon through, so if you get any diseases, any sorts of parasites, anything like that in the tank, you're going to spread it. That is true, that can actually happen. However, I can isolate these. So these do have the little isolation knob, so I can isolate every single one of these tanks if I so wished to. So bear in mind, this isn't me saying this is how you have to filtrate your tanks. This is just giving you certain options on how you can actually filtrate your tanks. It's various different ways. So the sump connected to various tanks is another method. Yeah, this is just like a little experiment that I was trying out. I thought I had this sump of the red rainbow tank and I decided I would use it as a sump, but not for just one tank. I thought, well, it's big enough to filtrate quite a few tanks. So I thought I'd do a little bit of an experiment, just playing around with it, you know how it is. And I think it worked out pretty well. So it's the sponges that you change more regularly underneath there. And these are connected, so that is the pump down the bottom. That's the outtake, and this is filtered through all the way up to the top. Sorry, my light on the firecracker tank isn't working at the moment. I do need to get another one, so it is a little bit dark, apologies, but we're not trying to see the fish here, we're trying to see the bubbles and the oxygenation passing of the gases. So this can be turned down also, so you can turn that down. Yes, that's like a little DIY project that sparked up, and I don't think it is too bad. I mean, it might be a bit patchy, might be a bit, you know, however you want to say it, a bit dodgy, but whose fish room is it? It's mine, so yeah. I can't believe I actually forgot this one as well. I always hide these fish, so I haven't actually showed you these fish before, so I'm quite pleased that they're all hiding to the right hand side. But this is off a matten filter as well and a sponge filter. So yeah, that is just a few options that you can actually have to filtrate your tanks. Alright guys, so that's it for another video. Hopefully you enjoyed this, seeing all the different types of filtration systems that I have here in the fish room. So if you are not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. It lets you know every time I upload a video. And with all that being said, don't forget to like, thumbs up, all that jazz, and I will catch you on my next one. Bye now!